Yes, hello. I am James Rowlands, and today is the WNR397. It's NXT Takeover WarGames, and I am not alone. I have the pleasure to be joined by, that's right, Monty is back on the show. How you doing, fella?
Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
And the crowd
Once again.
cheers.
Yeah. I hear the pop. Come on, give me some more. No, I'm just playing. No,
to be fair, you do get the Road Warrior pop on the WNR podcast. I think that would be fair.
Oh man, no, that's another type of over right there, man. Over like Rover. But anyway, this is. I'm happy to be back. Here we go again. Another week, another breakdown. You know, they putting me through the ringer. NXT did with the way their schedule worked out. They really put me through the ringer, but I can't lie, I'm excited, and I haven't been excited whenever we've done these pods in a few weeks. So, I mean, not weeks, but a few pods, let me say it that way. It feels like we pod every week, but it hasn't been that crazy yet. I mean, as of recently it has, but you know what I
mean. To be fair, you did do every week in November, and you have
done like 6 weeks now.
You have done 2 in December already, so I'm just but yeah. Everybody loves having you on, and none more so than me. And like I said, we've got Takeover.
But thank you. No, just playing.
Well, we're going to catch up.
I can't be horrible. Like, if I was horrible, I don't think you would ask me back this much, man.
Well, maybe I do it just to spite you. You never
you make yourself look good. It's like, he's so horrible, but I sound like the greatest broadcaster ever next to this guy.
No, of course, but let's catch up with the last episode of NXT before Takeover, November 30th. Now, the full-on depth, review of NXT is usually reserved for update, and we have done an NXT update, and we've actually had an NXT UK. We've added NXT this past couple of weeks as well, so we'll get straight to it. We've got the WarGames Advantage ladder match, Kaylee Ray versus Dakota Kai. First off, the action here. These were the two best choices to go one-on-one at this point, wasn't it? I mean, I know we had EO, but, this was kind of like a match I was really looking forward to.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Without even really needing the story about WarGames, or at least the advantage, you don't even care. That stipulation didn't matter. It's just these two ladies being involved. I think Barrett mentioned it later at WarGames, but he mentioned both of them, Kaylee Ray and Dakota Kai, with their experience, and also with they're both very battle tested, but also with the experience and just their talent overall. They're perfect choices for this match, and I was hyped going into it. Besides the fact that it was setting up WarGames, you know what I mean? So. This is definitely the two best choices out of everyone involved, like you said, other than maybe a EO there, but you can't go wrong with Kaylee Ray there.
Well, no, I think it's the first time in a long time with NXT I've looked at the open and gone, yeah, actually, this is going to be good. So, I mean...
Right.
2.0 has been very hit and miss. But we see the two women's teams meet on the stage. Of course, beginning this standard brawl that we have. And then we see Kai and Kaylee Ray alone in the ring. We see Kaylee Ray took an early lead with a super kick. And the captain of the team kick responded with inverted DDT on the steel stairs. Ray grabbed the ladder only to get cut off by Kay, who responded with a suicide dive and a slam on the ladder. By the time Ray was able to get the ladder set in the ring, Kai recovered enough to send her hard into the ladder. Kai went after the right knee from there, opened to make a climb, and Kaylee responded with the Kaylee Ray bomb on the announce table, limping up the ladder, gave Kai enough time to catch up. The two traded forearms. The captain of Team Kick won that exchange and hit a double foot stomp off the ladder. Ray caught her in the ladder rungs a bit later on and hit super kick that knocked out Kai. And Kaylee Ray climbed the ladder and brought down the briefcase. And that visual of Kai hanging from the ladder is not something I've seen a lot of. What were your thoughts on the match?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this ladder match, man. It was paced well. You could tell these were veterans because they knew exactly how to tell the necessary story here in this match with the ladder match stipulation, of course. I didn't think this match tried to be insane. I really love ladder match. I'm not saying ladder match can't be insane and enjoyable, because they definitely can. But I love it brings me back to the HBK Scott Hall type style of a ladder match where it was insane because that was the first time you saw a lot of the bumps that HBK and all that took in those matches. But at the same time, it all made logical sense in the scheme of the match. It was all about winning the match. So, and I thought this match kind of was in the same vein when it comes to, like, you know, not doing anything too crazy, even though the spots that they did do, the big bump that they did do, looked safe and also looked good. You know what I mean? And so like, you just tell these were veterans. And I was expecting Toxic Attraction to be pissed at Dakota Kai. She had it won. As good, as beautiful as the spot was, you had it won. Like, you know, but either way it go, I enjoyed it. This is, like you said, top-notch stuff from two people that, yeah, like I expect this, and I think sometimes they kind of take away because of how good they are, but like it was just, I don't know how you can say it wasn't. I don't think it not only did it exceed my expectations, but it was just top-notch stuff from great professionals who've been doing this for a long time. So, yeah, I loved it.
And I think that's an excellent point you make as well. Like I said, two profession going out.
Yes.
Because, you know, like I said, with NXT at the moment, so kind of confident what they do. And like I said, with Kaylee Ray, she might look better here than she did in NXT. And considering in NXT UK, she held a title for 9 days. That's a crazy statement.
Right.
But like I said, this was a fantastic opener. If NXT was like this every time, we would watch every
week.
Day.
Yeah. Or like, at least they could, if they can maintain that type of energy throughout the 2 hours also, like, oh my goodness. Because like you said, they're so up and down, you know, every segment, some segment's cool, some segment, you're like, okay, what am I watching? And, you know, so, but yeah, this is what they need to lean more into.
I think without a doubt, like I said, great way to start. And then we see Grimes beating Chase. And Grimes does look better with the trim, I would say. And then
Yes, looks younger, man.
I was looking at him and going, yeah, you know, like he's starting to look like a star. But I don't want it to take away from what we loved about him begin with, if you know what I mean. It's a delicate balance there. Team NXT 2.0 got interrupted by Johnny Wrestling. The only highlight was Johnny calling him the big bad booty nephew. Which...
yes, awesome. Oh my God, I popped. It was great.
And then
and as someone like me who loves Scott Steiner, like I grew up loving Scott Steiner, and sometimes just for a laugh, I would just go watch all of his promos from WCW or something when he went blonde, because it's just hilarious to watch. But yeah, I popped, and I really enjoyed that reference.
We then had Legado del Fantasma versus Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner, of course, number one contendership match. Just before that, MSK finally found a shaman, and we're going to be lucky enough to find out who the shaman is on this week's episode of NXT. But into the match, we see Wilde and Mendoza quickly isolating and teamed up on Kyle O'Reilly. But Zion Quinn arrived to stare down Elektra Lopez. And Escobar, they brawled following to the back. And while Wagner got the tag in the match, Mendoza just had a change strategy, hobbling the big man, trading heat strikes with Wild. Wagner saved his partner from close call with a Gargano team finisher. And the two hit a massive high-low clothesline leg sweep combination win. And then Imperium explained backstage they were not impressed by this. And then Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly got him telling their faces. And the worst thing of this was Von Wagner waiting for his line and nearly going early. What do you think of that? What do you think of the match? Because it wasn't a bad match.
Yeah, no. The match was not bad at all. You know, it was fine. You know, and as a matter of fact, it was also really competitive. And once again, on this show, I will let you know, I really, you know, now I talked about Santos, and I always look at the difference a year make. I said he was underrated, but screw that part right now. Legado as a tag team are underrated. You know what I mean? I said Santos was overrated last year, and I meant to say, like I said, this now, look at that. That was ridiculous, is what I'm trying to say. And now, Legado, the team, are underrated because every time they're in the ring and they get a shot to show you what they can do, it's just so good. You know what I mean? But the Zion spot, it confused me because why would Santos and Elektra think Zion wanted anything other than revenge? They just kind of looked at him, and he put Elektra in front of him like Zion would just stop in his tracks for her, I guess. I don't know. That was confusing. But either way it go. Like you said, the match was cool. I definitely noticed Von Wagner being a little early on his line, and his like you said, he's definitely green. I think it really shows on the promo. He's obviously one of those guys who are getting it in the ring way better than they're getting it character wise, facial expression wise. Because that's another thing I don't like. He doesn't necessarily got all of that psychology and character wise down yet. But I think he's at least good enough in the ring. You know, and he's a big guy, so I know WWE would like him. But yeah, this match was, like you said, really, really good, and I had no problem with it.
The thing is, as well, I'm thinking about it, especially with the kind of influx of bigger guys, that will be very. I think we need to look at, or they will need to look at managers and playing a vital role, because obviously back in the day, it's like, right, stand in the background and put your, punch your fist with your hand and look mean. That was the kind
Pose.
of. That's all you had to do, and if Von Wagner was doing it, it'd be very, very intimidating. But it's not intimidating when jumping in early.
And the sad part about it too is like NXT's manager stable is kind of bare at this point. I mean, I don't think the sad thing about it, I think Rob Stone could talk for people, but it's just like, who gonna take anybody seriously who been behind him the way he's been, displayed for a while now almost. So like, I don't know who do you put there, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely think he would benefit, and a couple other, maybe even Odyssey Jones would benefit also from like having a mouthpiece.
I think something annoyed me on NXT, because my next thing I was going to say is Joe Gacy fucked around with jobbers, and these new guys are dog shit on the mic. I'm sorry for that microaggression. So I guess I didn't like that segment.
Oh my! You know what? The only thing I wrote about that segment was, of course, they interrupt the most interesting part of the inclusive invitation or whatever. Like literally, as soon as the female wrestler get in, they gotta interrupt. Like, of course, they wouldn't let me watch him see if he was gonna knock her out or whatever. Not saying I want him to hurt a woman, but I'm just saying, don't tease me intergender stuff if you're not gonna actually do it. But whatever. I guess it was fine though.
Wow.
But yeah, that was the most interesting part of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Literally.
I was thinking at that point, they've been made such a thing of intergender wrestling and this kind of thing.
Yeah.
I thought, well, maybe not. We see Solo Sikoa smashing Idris Enofi. Nice intro package for him. Shame about the result.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was unfortunate. I watched the package and I was like, yeah, cool. And then they said who he was fighting, and I was like, really? Like, come on, man. Why would you do him like that? But I liked, like you said, I actually liked it. And putting him against Solo that early shows you just it speaks volumes of what they think about Solo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's already trusted enough to kind of introduce other newer talent. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Like 3 or 4 weeks of television, he's already trusted enough to be in the ring with that. And I like Idris's look, and compared to the other people who debuted, he definitely didn't look green, or you know what I mean? Like I've seen others who showed up. So it was good stuff, man, and maybe a look into the future of not just NXT but WWE.
Without a doubt. Well, we see Mi Ying doing a Blair Davenport, as in just crouching around. And also, don't forget, Lopez is gagging for it. That's another thing we found with 2.0. Yeah. She just wants it bad. And I also think the index stuff has jumped the shark as well.
Yeah. I don't even know, and I don't know where they're heading with that either. The way Indy is kind of leaving Persia hanging, or I guess it's just kind of a cool vehicle to show what Persia can do, because that's all that match accomplished, was kind of just showcasing Persia. But yeah, Indy's. I didn't know if their focus is to showcase Persia, or if their focus is to have Indy's relationship kind of ruin a team before they really even get started. But I don't know. And then, like you said, before that, hold on, what did you say before that? I lost it. Me a statement.
Lopez is gagging.
There we go. Yeah, exactly. She is by far the most. She's a very good looking woman too. By the way, I get it, but at the same time, you would think that she would have ways to solve these problems besides coming to work and abusing this poor quiet brother every week. But whatever, it's obviously something going on there, and like you said, she definitely wants it because she's obsessed almost. So yeah,
it's that look she gives of just he's
and when did we get here in NXT? When did we ever get here to where this is what we're talking about?
That's what I'm saying. It's
the horniness of a wrestler is where we go. I don't know why this is a story, but anyway, there you go.
Well, the main event was the WarGames advantage ladder match between Gargano and Breakker. We see Breakker took over early, throwing around Johnny Gargano about giving him to breathe. Johnny Wrestling had a strategy. Today's a big man and climb quickly. However, Breaker was deceptively fast. Gargano used the ladder and announced him his bigger opponent, even sending him off the ladder all the way to the outside. The BT Sport feed that I use to watch in the UK, where that's his channel it's shown. Like I said, the last 15 minutes just cut out. And then even the highlight or the replay on the show online didn't have the last 15 minutes. And the scary thing is nobody mentioned it. Not on Twitter, not online. I'm thinking, did anybody watch? So I had to find a highlight to see what happened at the end, which was Breaker went for diving and I landed on ladder instead.
Crazy.
Well, the reason I bring that up, because I know problems with the cock, as you mentioned, in America and elsewhere. So it's kind of weird. And I think Dynamite's main event was interrupted on Fight TV as well, which is kind of weird. So anyway, we see both men hobbling around. And, of course, we see the Frankenstein. It could be called a Frankenbreaker, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's right. And they battle to the top of the ladder with Gargano, hit him in the face with a briefcase before Gargano could reach up low. Breaker pulled him down. The military press power slam allowed him to go on top for the win. And then, of course, all 8 men filled the road as the show went off.
Of course.
It was standard for WarGames. And what were your thoughts on the main event?
Yeah, of course, possibly on his way out, Gargano gets like literally my favorite performance out of Breaker so far. I thought him and Ciampa were good together, but this was just really, really good. And he made Breaker look like $1 million, you know what I mean, in the process. And, matches like this, whether it's for paternity leave, whether it's for good, Gargano will obviously be missed in a major way because it don't matter who he's fighting, no matter the occasion. He's always going to bring his best and the best out of his opponent, and this was a perfect example of that. And like you said, Breaker impressed. Every time, I again, as a mark for Scott Steiner, anytime he does a Frankenstein, I'm going to get hyped and excited. I don't know why. It's just even when Scott used to do it, guys that size have no business doing it with the snap that they do it with. But there you go. Anyway, I like this match. I love Breaker, and Gargano is, like I said, one of the greatest to do it, not only in the NXT ring, just in general. And this is a good example of why, like I said, he will be missed no matter how long he's gone or if he's never come.
Yeah, I think about that. But first, I think it was a fun main event, and I even put WarGames to hopefully be better than expected now. And I think this is the first one we've seen because maybe a takeover. It felt like an old NXT show. You had the segments you needed to set up the takeover event, and I didn't mind it. But you did mention Johnny Gargano, and his contract was going to expire on Friday, December the 3rd. And of course, his involvement in WarGames, he signed until Friday, December the 10th. And there's a lot of rumours going around what he's going to do, and the same with Kyle O'Reilly as well. So it's a really interesting time. I guess Roderick Strong's happy he signed his contract early.
Right.
But we'll see what happens. We'll move on. Of course, there's Takeover Kickoff, December 5th, and we get Sam Roberts and Mackenzie Mitchell, doing their pre-show. But it's did like LA Knight cutting a passionate promo, hyping up those accolades and how they will not fade away. And even going, Bruiserweight, do you want to say anything?
Nah.
And he talks about DOI reuniting and how Black and Gold's we are teeing in an open strategy. Chase showed up as a volunteer and a cheerleader. Bron Breakker showed up making fun of Chase. D'Angelo threatened him and told him to walk off. Again, not too bad because you're going, it does make sense. But I mean, it does remind me a little bit of the Millionaires Club versus a New Blood from WCW back in the day. But this is better, isn't it? I was about to say, do you remember how bad that was? This story makes that look like, oh my God, it makes that look unwatchable. Almost. By the way, a lot of 2001 WCW was unwatchable, kids. But anyway, I agree. Like the chemistry there, especially on the Black and Gold side, it's so cool. Like I remember LA Knight getting on my damn nerves. We were just talking about how despicable LA Knight was, right? And now, like
just a couple of promos in, and just the passion, like you said, no one has that. Like I said, that old school style of promo, and oh my goodness, like I said, they set this up really, really good, and yeah, it was a good sign for things to come, man.
Well, this is a funny thing as well, because it's like, we've got legends of the black and gold brand, former champions who've done everything, and then it's going, what, me as well? What, you can't me? Oh, thanks. I mean,
Right.
he's not been that
Megastar.
successful, but he is. He is L.A. Knight. Gacy and Harlem were shown heading to the PC. They cut to Diamond walking through the parking lot on backstage. Basically, and another thing that fucking is going to be taking ideas, not just from the WNR in general, but when we first started the show back into predictions and everything like that, WWE never did shit like this, and then they go there and actually get predictions from two guys and go, it's just the same. I know people have done predictions before, but to pretend to be excited about NXT, I've been pretending to be excited for 5 years. Building up each live show, god damn it. It's like, but anyway, ran over. This was awesome. This was terrible. This was terrible. But anyway, before we get to the main show, question: excitement level for the event and the match most looking for.
So, I must say that I definitely came into this event, and this is one of the first takeovers I think I've ever came and told you, is that I was literally like 50-50 on it. Like, part of me was definitely interested to see, because not only do I like the WarGames concept, it's takeover. So, like, even before I was doing these reviews, even before they were on television, even before I actually started trying to keep up with them on the network when it was on the network, when it was on the network over here, you know what I'm saying? So, even back then, before I started to keep up with NXT regularly, I would check out the takeovers, you know what I mean? And like, so once I finally started to watch it all the time, and like, you just see everything. As a matter of fact, watching the takeovers is what got me started watching it all the time, of course. So, that part of me definitely wanted to watch it. The other part of me, like you said, NXT 2.0 has been hit or miss, man. I really was worried that they would, possibly ruin that great reputation that we always bring up about TakeOver. Like, I really was a little bit unsure, but definitely the match I was looking forward to the most was definitely the men's war game, with everything, even with, of course, the stuff that has nothing to do with the storyline with Gargano and all of that, but just all of that talent on one side, and like you said, including LA Knight, and then you have the new guys who are trying to establish themselves. I thought this was the best built match on the card, and I was definitely looking forward to it the most.
Yeah, without that, well, we get the War Games intro, of course, just a lot of sirens, which again is great if you like it. We get Vic Joseph, Wade Barrett, and Beth Phoenix on commentary, and of course, Vic noted that it was Beth's last night on NXT. A lot of rumours about why she's leaving NXT. Maybe she'd stick around for 2.0. But, I mean, for me personally, especially with a change, Joseph, Barrett and Phoenix are probably... no, they are my favourite combination. They make you feel welcomed. And like I said, they're selling what sometimes is called product and giving it their best.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago... as 2.0 was trying to establish themselves as they began, they were a lot of the time the highlights of the hogwash that we had to watch a lot of. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were, it was little, whether it's little things here, whether it's the way Barrett and Beth would play off each other. You know what I mean? So, and like, even with Vic, Vic, being the play-by-play and also being in the middle of it, but also taking Beth's side most of the time, of course, on the against Barrett. But I loved how they ganged up on Barrett. I kind of got used to that. So I definitely gonna miss Beth. I thought she was a great job. Thought she always did a great job. As a matter of fact, like I don't know how she caught on like so naturally. We've seen other people have problems catching on, but like she got it down quick on commentary and was always top notch. Not to mention how she had great moments during the Loomis and Dexter stuff. It's just all types of stuff, and we know she's a great mentor to any women's wrestler in general, just because of her own history and background. So she was valuable, and I'm definitely gonna miss that voice. And I'm wondering, are we going to get the classic just 2-man? You know, is it just going to go back to 2-man, or are we going to get a third? Someone else jumping in for Beth, another female commentator, or a male commentator. What is next for commentary? Or I wouldn't mind if they just let Vic and Barrett play off each other. They have a really great chemistry. Go back to that classic 2-man style of commentary that I like. I know WWE seems to hate that though. Even though on SmackDown they don't mind it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so we'll see what happens. But definitely Beth will be missed at NXT's commentary desk.
Yeah, without doubt, and it's not a case of she got the job or anything like that or herself. And like I said,
yes.
the rapport of Joe's and Barrett, it's hard to come by. I mean, even with us two or there, it's sometimes difficult to kind of make that work. I tell you what I would love them to do is get Nigel McGuinness and throw the cat amongst the pigeons and have Wade versus Nigel arguing their cases, because I always like Vic and Nigel together. And I think it'd be a bit weird. It'd be like an ex-girlfriend. I'm with Wade now and Vic's.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that either, because again, you've established already chemistry, and that's the thing. A lot of we talk about it all the time. Especially I know Raw get a lot of flack for it, but they deserve it, because for a long time you've just been sitting through stuff that it's fine or whatever, manageable, I guess, serviceable commentary, but not necessarily, like you said, that the thing that made JR and Lawler when they were at their peak is, like you said, how they played off of each other. Same thing with Monsoon and Heenan back in the day. So you all the great commentary teams, like you said, have that repertoire. They have that place they can go to where it's just chemistry, play off each other. They know where everyone's going. They know how to also. But also, they don't distract from the story that's going on, with the workers either. I don't think they're distracting either. And that's, like I said, they do a really, really good job. And like you said, definitely the strongest commentary team in WWE, for a while. So, unless, some people like Pat and Michael Cole, and I don't mind Pat and Michael Cole either. But consistently, week to week, Beth, Barrett, and Vic Joseph did a great job.
Well, we get the entrances to the women's WarGames match that starts us off, and we see Takai possibly sporting a looking on of late Hana Kimura, and apparently her current character is very similar as well, but again, it's not as much detail that I know, but I think it's a nice point of reference anyway for And of course, Io Shirai, Cora Jade, Kaylee Ray, Gonzalez versus Dakota Kai, Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, and JC Jane. Having them in a cage hard cam was a little bit different, but again, it's a little bit cramped in there. Now you stuck another ring in.
I definitely noticed how cramped, like you said, how tight it was. It really stuck out that this isn't, those, arenas that they were in for takeovers of the war games of the past, or even Full Sail for that matter.
Well, we see Kai and Kaylee Ray picking up where they left off from NXT. Kai brought some kendo sticks to combat the baseball bat, but both women abandoned the weapons. The start was pretty boring, I think, with a bit of an old setup, especially with the kendo sticks being on the bottom rope. But the bump, I guess, paid off there. And the first person to join them in the ring was Cora Jade. And Wade Barrett noted that Jade was the youngest wrestler in WarGames history at 20 old. But she still got the "you can't skate" chant. But don't forget, again, talking about WCW, Van Hammer came to the ring and never played guitar. So we
It's a good point.
Kai was able to hit a double DDT right before Gigi Dolan joined her in the ring. Crowd was happy with Gigi. And am I crazy? But I think Gigi has a hint of Paige. But again, I don't know if
yes.
Yeah?
Definitely. She made a face. I don't know if she or whatever. I saw the side profile and I was like, holy shit. Like literally, I thought the exact same thing. Wow, that definitely reminded me of Paige. I agree 100%. That's the first person that comes to mind when I see her work.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You don't think it is Paige?
Yeah, and then she resembles her. Like if it wasn't for the hair dye, like if she was straight black hair and Yeah, she definitely can pass. She can pass the face, man.
Paige just had
She's a little short, I think, but she can pass.
Well, she brought a trash can with her along with a mystery bag. Ooh, Shai joined her team and brought some chairs.
Oh, did they ever use that bag?
No, they didn't. I referenced it, and they never did.
It's a good. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Probably a lunch. We're going mystery bag. It's a sandwich. Shai joined her team. There was a nice little callback with Io looking to put the trash can on her head with that look, and that was my moment of 2020. I loved it. I actually went back and just watched that over and over again.
Sounds just like you.
JC Jane was up next. She grabbed a table to bring him with her in the ring, and they had a bit of confusion trying to get it in, but they managed to in the end. The babyface set Jade, and Jade managed to fight out, putting Jane on the table, went to the top of the cage, and hit a huge senton, or as I like to call, she was trying to kill herself. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was sick. It was sick. The rotation wasn't even. It was also like the right amount of just raw because the rotation wasn't perfect, and then the noise it made when she crashed through. It was a sick spot, and I loved it. I mentioned it when I wrote it down. It was such a nice touch watching Kaylee Ray and Io play rock, paper, scissors. Before that, they were like, all right, out of us, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. And she like, nope, screw y'all, I got this. And just, there you go. I loved it. It was perfect. I like this spot a lot.
Even Io's Io and Kaylee Ray's reaction when she jumped off, and they're like, yeah, oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah, exactly. After she landed, they were like, okay, cool. And then you could just see Io. Io said, while the crowd were saying, holy shit, she was also saying shit, but it was a different way, because she was like, oh, shit, I think she hurt.
Well, it looked like Jade may have dislocated her shoulder, and Shai just
Dr. Io.
I've got this.
I got this.
And I think
when is that ever cool? That's not, you can't do it.
Well, Vic Joseph said, she needs an ambulance. I think Wade went, she's got an EO. And I was like, well, that's fucking right. Snapping it back into place. That was crazy. The doctors, it worked brilliant, didn't it? It really was well done. Because at that point, I'm going, fuck, is she done? What's going on? Hook, line, and sinker, I like to say. I could pretend otherwise, but at that you're going, she just killed herself, man. Her arms fucked. And Io's just done that.
Right.
So Io's done. I've never seen it before. Never seen that.
Yeah, I agree. I wrote that down. It was a couple of things in this match where I was like, that is the first time I've ever seen this. I have to give him that. I have to give him a nod. You got to tip your cap on that one, man.
Well, this is the thing. One of the things Gonzalez got entered into the match and brought trash cans.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Dakota Kai whole body fit in the trash can. I was like, what the hell?
Not just that.
Did she ring around the rosy?
I was going, I've fucking never seen that. It's crazy.
Bro, oh my goodness, I absolutely couldn't believe that spot. And it was so well done, man. She fit perfectly in there. And it looked like if Raquel wanted to, she could have threw her into the other ring.
She could have cleared that cage. She could have.
She should have spent discus throwing, you know what I mean? Oh my God, would have sent her out of the arena.
Well, Io got stopped from going up, but led to a sequence. And Mandy Rose was the final competitor. So going over to Jade and pulling her across the ring with a bad arm. And at that point, I thought, right, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
We ended up with
the jig was up then.
At that point,
went right to her arm. What the hell?
Well, the match came to an end when Jade made the pin for her team on Jane after the slam by Gonzalez, and about a minute, it seemed. But anyway, teammates rushed to her side to congratulate her and celebrate the victory. Now, before I get your thoughts on the match, I'm looking forward to the Toxic reunion in a couple of years in AEW. I really think Toxic will work out well. But seriously, what do you think of the match?
Yeah, man, this is a good way to start, an awesome way to start the show, man. It was, like I said, I love matches. I give matches ultimate kudos when they do things I've never seen before. And like you said, Dakota Kai in the trash can, Dr. Io Shirai, you know what I'm saying? All of that comes to mind. And I came away impressed, with the way this match was put together. I thought it was really good. I thought they did a really good thing. They let Cora Jade shine, you know what I'm saying? This is obviously meant to put over the toughness and, the resolve of Cora Jade. And I thought Gigi Dolan was by far the most impressive and the best of Toxic Attraction in this match. You know what I mean? She was just timely out of nowhere with nice stiff spots, and it was just cool. I really came away looking at her differently, and the same thing with Cora Jade. I thought this was pretty cool. Like you said, and she definitely proved toughness. And then Io didn't even have to jump off the cage. They said Io has done this plenty of times. Too many bumps. You don't need another bump, for nothing. Let the 20-year-old do it. Let the one who can't even drink legally here in America. Let her jump off. So anyway, it was just a nice touch, man. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4.25 is what I gave it. I thought it was fun. It was, they were creative. You can kind of see them setting up set pieces, and that can be forgiven. But at the end of the day, man, I think like you pointed out earlier, like some parts of it was boring, or some parts of it you was like, what's going on? But once the spot, you know what I'm saying, paid it off, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this was cool. So the finish kind of came out of nowhere for me, the little just roller up after the impact. I guess it worked, but it was, it was kind of out of nowhere, but I didn't mind. It was 4.25 though, so I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, Jade, Shawn Michael-esque selling job there with the arm.
Yeah.
Her stuff and Jane's stuff does look a bit sloppy. Talk about with Kai and Kaylee Ray, but even Kaylee Ray, I think, was a little bit. There was a few bumps on chairs and stuff like that. Maybe didn't react to. I think but like I said, the workhorses, great effort from them. Like Io was on fire. She comes alive, like we said.
As always,
she really, really is good.
Right?
And credit to everyone else as well. I mean, the heart
Kai.
is there.
Oh my God, Raquel! And like you said, everybody brought some.
No, that's right. I'm going to give it the same thing, 4.25, because yes, it wasn't the best WarGames ever, but for what it did, and like you said, those couple of spots where how many matches can you say? Oh, do you know what? I've actually never seen that before, and we did there, and of course we also did predictions on our last show. Damn it! But if you listen back to the predictions, you will hear the truth. But anyway, both went faces, so it is 1-1, and the poll wise, Toxic Attraction 67% of the vote, so way out.
Wow!
There.
What do you guys think? No.
That's it. Alienate the audience. No, that's fine. That's fine.
Right? Oh my God!
You guys vote for who you want for, eh? Good job, buddy. Good job.
Hey, even I don't like sugarcoating even to the audience. Okay, but go ahead.
It's fine. Anyway, we see Boa still struggling with the soul of Mi Ying, but who?
We're all struggling with that one.
Anyway, Team Black and Gold were hyping each other up in the locker room. Johnny Gargano did throw in references to last WarGames, and Jumper doubled down in speculation. Not anyone else's moment other than Johnny Gargano's. The camera showed Gargano was choked up with that encouragement. Speaking of people that are leaving soon, Carla Riley and Len Von Wagner made their entrances. Of course, Imperium came out next for the NXT Tag Team Champion. Riley and Barthel started with a nice exchange of wrist locks and counters. Eichner tagged in drag. Wagner got the tag and leapfrog over Riley onto Eichner. I say leapfrog. If you want to see how that move is done behind the curtain, watch how they did. I think we're fair to Eichner won a battle of Wilson with a suplex. Carla Riley for Barthel tagged in. Riley caught with a knee to the face, but it did slow down the German superstar. Wagner came in hot and took it to Barthel and Eichner. And then the whole apron. I've never seen that.
Here we go again. Like, it literally just disappeared. Like, oh, well, I get to see what's under there finally.
I don't know if I've positioned you in this way for the past year, but I'm sure you thought of me when it happened.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to notice all the little things now. I never noticed anything before, and maybe you're picking up my awareness, because this show started off insane.
It's like, oh, the apron's come off. But when Riley came in again,
it was quick too. It just disappeared.
Imperium were able to gain the upper hand. Riley tried several different submissions, but they were either countered or broken up. Barthel was able to score the win with a clothesline from the top rope, while Ike put Riley in the air. The camera stuck in the ring afterwards to tease Kyle O'Reilly leaving. We get a thank you, Kyle. And then Wagner tried to clothesline Kyle, but he dodged, hit with a kickbox combination, and then did the Undisputed Era hand sign and a crotch chop. He said it's a brotherhood. Yeah. And Wagner said, I'm going to kick your ass. I mean, what were your thoughts on this match?
Man, you know what? As boring as Kyle O'Reilly and Wagner as a team have been portrayed on television, I cannot say a bad thing about this match, man. This is just beautiful to watch. I was feeling this match from the beginning and to the end. And how fitting is it to me that if this is Kyle's last takeover match, that it was in an awesome tag match. As much as ridicule maybe he deserved or even not deserved over his singles run, it's kind of fitting that if that's his last takeover, it was in a really, really good match. And I really hope Imperium open eyes, because they are a top-notch unit and been underappreciated for far too long in NXT. And and Fabian Eichner, he was my MVP, man. He was doing everything, and this was just a great tag team display. I loved the match. I gave the match itself 4 out of 5 stars. I was really, really 4.5. 4.5 stars. I'm sorry, I said 4 out of 5. 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it that much. I enjoyed it more than the women's WarGames match. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really necessarily care about Wagner turning on Kyle because we weren't really invested in them as a team anyway. But the UE flashing and then cross chopping, that's literally the most personality they've allowed Kyle O'Reilly to show since he was a face. Mm-hmm. So and that might be part of the reason why Kyle, Tuesday, the cage match might be Kyle's last NXT. So, but overall, I thought the match 4.5. I really liked it.
Well, like I said, Imperium made it. Had no right to
definitely.
Be.
Right,
no
that's what I'm saying. And that may be why it went into my star rating more, because I had no expectations of enjoying this. You know what I'm saying? And then I came into it, I'm like, wow, they are really going for it.
But there's something to be said of Kyle and being an NXT tag expert and probably the most decorated tag team wrestler in NXT. Like I said, the amount of bangers that he's had from, Authors of Pain or DIY or, different combinations with Strong or Cole. And even now Von Wagner, like I said, he's a fantastic tag wrestler. There's nothing wrong with that. Just get him the right partner and you'll sort that out,
Yeah.
And speaking of right partner, Eichner said, watch this, because he worked out.
He put a show on, man. I don't know what got into him. I don't know what pumped him up, but he was like, I'm going to show everybody what I'm capable of. And that's what this match was, man. This was a Fabian Eichner showcase, man.
But I think what worries me a little bit is if he does move up to the main roster, pound pitch again. Didn't help Billy Gunn. Didn't help Shelton Benjamin.
Nope.
It's not
Cesaro.
It doesn't help Cesaro. Doesn't help anybody. But I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. And I will say I love Imperium. And the Stormtroopers are cool, but give me Vader. That's what I'm looking at. Predictions for this, both Imperium, so it's 2-2. Poll-wise, Imperium was 60% of the vote. Mackenzie Mitchell interviewed Legado del Fantasma on the thoughts of Esquire Wrestling Zion Quinn. Esquire talked about how he's going to beat Quinn. Mackenzie asked Electra a couple of questions, like she's gagging for it. And she said she's a grown-ass woman. She can do what she wants, and we respect that. Anyway, we see the hype video for Cameron Grimes versus Duke Hudson. Yes, hair versus hair. This is a match that, again, we're really sure what we're going to get, but we get straight into the action. And Hudson scooping up Grimes and planting him in shoulder thrusts. We see Hudson threw Grimes over the top, and because of the setup, he landed straight on the steel stairs, and you saw the red marks on his back as well. That couldn't.
Nah, that was a tough bump, man. He tough for even finishing it, because that looked bad. It really looked bad.
Well, Grimes was able to recover. kicks to the body. Hudson took a breather outside. He pulled Grimes to the floor and hit a belly-to-belly suplex. He then locked Grimes in the abdominal stretch, made famous by Wilbur Schneider back in the 1930s. And he dominated the match for the next few minutes. He put his rival through the ringer. Grimes hit a Poison Rana, I don't know if they call it or whatever it is. It was fucking amazing. Like, you see a guy his size doing something like that. And you think, he's going to get the job done after the tornado DDT. But surprisingly, it was Grimes winning with the roll-up in the corner. Yeah, the trusted roll-up. And after Hudson was going to get out of it by attacking Grimes, he then got the cave-in, put in a barber's chair, and then we had the classic knocked out, head shave, wake up, run off. But again, what were your thoughts on?
Solid, man. I thought this was very solid. The work in the ring was definitely solid, and it had fun moments, all through it, And I thought the right guy won, in the end, and I didn't envy them honestly because I honestly after they went after that tag match, like I was like really pumped, and like I did like so I thought they throwing them out there, a match that I didn't really care so much about the build for, but I thought they answered really, really nicely. I had no problem with it. And I thought that Duke got a chance to actually show us what he can do, kind of like he did back in the breakout tournament, instead of, poker and all of that other stuff that's unimportant. I think he showed his potential at times. And, and Grimes was as solid as always, and winning the way he did worked. Like, I'm not really a fan of the dreaded roll-up, but the way he did it works in this story because once again, because he grabbed the tights, he played Duke Hudson. So it kind of played into what they had going on. I gave it 3.5 stars.
Well, yeah, the thing about that as well is I was grumbling, and then after he hit the cave-in to knock him, put him in the chair, and I thought, 2 cave-ins in a row might not work as well as the kind of surprise. And like I said, with Duke Hudson, he showed it, and hopefully now's a chance for him to come back a little bit. And obviously not, on a big bad hill, whether it's, but a more serious side and show what he can do. As for Grimes, and we talked about earlier when you mentioned Santos Escobar, I've never been more wrong about Cameron Grimes. When you listen when we first started doing the show, and I was like, I just don't get it. And the thing about it, he gives 100% to be fighting LA Knight, fighting zombies, or in a hair versus hair. That guy's just got something about it. And I just hope they don't lose what we kind of grown to love so much. But again, like you said, it was solid character stuff for Grimes, who has been a great consistent. I'm going to give it 3.95 just because of the effort put in. Predictions for this, we both went Grimes, so it's 3-3. Grimes got 78% of the vote. We then find out NXT New Year's Evil will be January 4th. I don't know if we'll do that as a special or just do it catch up with the NXT update.
Wow. They got the first, and then you have New Year's Eve. Like I said, these wrestling companies have no care about me. They don't care. They don't care. Like I said, they don't care.
Battle of the Belts, AEW Battle of the Belts on the 8th.
Yeah.
So you
no one cares about me. No one cares about us, James. They're gonna work us to the bone.
It's not even the end of the year yet. We can't even enjoy the end of year because of what's coming up in January.
There goes my holiday break.
Exactly. We get a hype video airing for Roderick Strong versus Joe Gacy. And of course, the Cruiserweight Championship on the line with £5 waiver between the two. And Strong was looking to fight, but Gacy seemed to be more interested in playing his mind games. After a burst of offense from Gacy, Strong called him so he could tear his shirt off and deliver some chops to the chest. The big man was able to gain the upper hand and use his size advantage to dominate. Strong hit a suplex and a gut buster, but Gacy still managed to escape it, and he wrestled Roddy into a submission, but couldn't keep it locked on. He took out most of the Diamond Mine with a dive over the top. Credit to him with that. And Harlan then kept Ivy Nile from getting involved. But Gacy made her put her down. He came back in, hit a powerbomb, but Strong recovered and hit a backbreaker. The win. Now, before I get your thoughts on the match as well, who the hell was the heel and the face in this match? Or does it matter?
Look, that's been my problem since this entire thing started. I'm like, we supposed to be cheering for Gacy? Are we supposed to be cheering for, we supposed to be cheering for Strong, the Diamond Man, all of a sudden? Yeah, that part I never really figured out. Never figured that part out. And honestly, also another thing I can't figure out. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm, maybe I'm just tripping here, man. But if we are doing this for real, for the Cruiserweight title, and anyone can start the challenge for it, which I doubt. Maybe this is a one-time thing. But just if not, just call it the Openweight Championship from now on. So change it to an Openweight title, and then just screw it. Even though they don't necessarily need another, not World Championship in NXT, why not? If this is what we're doing, because saying Cruiserweight title while watching someone who's obviously not there can be confusing. Either way it goes, it is what it is. Go ahead.
About the match, what about NXT, right? Because, NXT. If they get rid of the N and the T, they call it like the X Division Championship. It's going to have no limits.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know if they could trademark that, but I don't know how they're going to be able to legally pull it off. But it's a great idea. But that's my point. If we're going to do it anyway, screw the Cruiserweight, call it Openweight, call it X, anything. Just make a new belt then if this is what we're doing. But if not, it doesn't really matter. The match was cool. It was good stuff, man, in it. And I came away thinking Gacy is cool. He is legit, in my opinion, in the ring. I like Gacy in the ring. I like his work. I don't understand his character all the time. I definitely don't understand his relationship with Harlan so far, or whatever is going on there. But I do like what he does in the ring, and I see his potential there. And I gave it 3.5 stars. Strong is always solid in the ring. I thought this was cool, but this is definitely probably the weakest built story going into the show, and probably the weakest match that I on the show. So. But it was cool, though. I didn't have a problem with it. It wasn't bad by any means.
Well, I thought this was everything wrong with NXT 2.0. But it's like, we don't know who the heels and faces are. We've got this kind of Joe Gacy. We don't know the character. We've got a title that doesn't really matter. A storyline that's just kind of put there. And it's just like, it's just annoying where you had something else. But then again, maybe not, because like I said, what would you have put there at the time? The Cruiserweight title is, CWC was one of my favourite things back in to watch and see, exposure to people like Kota Ibushi, and people like that. Of course, Zack Sabre Jr. was involved as well. Grand Metallic, since now TJP, who actually won it all as well, And it's been difficult cruiserweight since then. There's no doubt. We've had our peaks, with Neville, and we've had our, valleys and Enzo. But, but the thing is, I was watching this. Do you remember when Bang as well?
Yeah.
What was wrong with that?
Yeah. The belt has definitely fell. It definitely fell from that statue, because you're right. Like, this was a work. Even when Santos had it, it was a work. It was a very work heavy belt, Like it was definitely presented better than this.
And who would have thought Strong would be the last man standing in the Undisputed Era? Like, is he dating Linda? We don't know about it or something like what's going on with Strong there? Fair play. Like I said, it wasn't a bad match, but after we've kind of been building and you're thinking, this is a takeover, you get this and go, oh no.
No, as solid as I thought the work was, I do agree with that. Out of everything on this show, that was probably the only thing that probably you could have just saw on a regular 2.0.
We see predictions. We both went Strong. So also we're both tied leading into the final match. I mean, surely someone didn't go any different, but we'll find out. Poll wise, Strong got 53%. And then, if you're wondering if Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon are controlling NXT and doing it, we see Ikemanjiro shitting, which is basically I can't say anything.
That's what it was. Skipped these. I had the luxury of because I watched all the way up to basically Strong and Gacy live, and then the next day I watched WarGames. So I had the luxury of being able to skip right past that nonsense. But it's unspeakable, honestly. I don't even know how to explain it. I don't even know what to say.
It actually is. Anybody listening go, fuck off. And honestly, watch it. He eats a lot. Anyway, Mackenzie Mitchell interviewed Kyle O'Reilly about attacking Von Wagner. He talked about not being in WarGames for him ever since W started. And he said he needs, and he challenged Wagner to a steel cage match on Tuesday. Did he not see a cage match for Raw between Biggie and Rollins? And isn't three and roll? And this is WarGames. We've got three cage matches. And he's like, I need a fourth.
I need another cage. And that's another thing about this. Since we didn't do right after a tag team break, I know he may not have much time left on the show, but right after that, we get a cage match blow off instead of just a regular, match. I don't, this is the first, it's weird. And like you said, I don't know what the big deal is with cages, this upcoming, I don't know what's been going on. I don't know why. I don't know.
It's Cage Week.
I don't get it.
Cage Week in WWE.
Yeah. They couldn't get enough of it. Yeah, that's that. You know what? That actually would have worked. They should have went with that rollout. Just be like Cage Week for WWE and everybody. Roman has to defend his title in a cage match against. It doesn't even matter who. It's just throw a cage out there.
Stick a cage. 15
minute. Matter of fact, just leave
the
cage up for 3 hours on Raw. Just leave the cage. Every match is a cage match.
Well, I was going to ask you, though, and I know with Kyle O'Reilly we've been a bit hit and miss, but in all seriousness, is Kyle O'Reilly leaving NXT?
Is it a loss to NXT? I don't necessarily know if it's a loss to this current era of NXT because of the direction they're obviously going in. Because let's just be honest, man. If Adam Cole from the Undisputed Era, let's think about the future. If Adam Cole, when he got called up, was getting suggested things that he felt was unreasonable enough for him to want to leave, I don't expect it to be much better for Kyle O'Reilly going forward if the main roster is his goal. So if the main roster was his goal, I don't think that's a big, a big deal. And then also, like you point out, it's just he's hit or miss as a character, and I think WWE, or at least NXT, they showed that they don't necessarily know how to present him anyway by himself, if you see what I'm saying. Yeah. So, with all of that uncertainty, I think it'll be best to let him walk with that, with all of that being considered, even though I do think he's talented and a guy like him is a loss to any locker room, especially in work-wise, because all through this time, even if I haven't been invested in what he's doing character-wise, even if I think the storylines are boring or whatever, or even some of his matches, I believe he can he definitely can wrestle. I think that is definitely not the issue with Kyle O'Reilly. So maybe a change of scenery and, going over with Bobby Fish, with Adam Cole, maybe that is what is necessary for him personally. But I don't necessarily count it as a huge loss. And I'm trying to say it without making it sound like, oh, no, he sucked. Who cared about him? It's nothing. Because it's not like that. But at the same time, it's not, with the direction NXT is going in, it's not really the biggest loss.
Well, it's not just that as well. It's like he said, if it was going to happen, it happened, like I said, a year ago or 6 months with the Balor thing. And like I said, the Adam Cole feud kind of went on a little bit too long. But all his connections are kind of gone to AEW now. There's nothing kind of keeping him here. And you would say, do you know what? It's actually going to help you probably going to AEW with your mates. Be able to wrestle more bangers, do a bit of Japan. Whereas with Johnny Gargano, you kind of got, like I said, Ciampa and NXT. You've got the DIY thing, of course. Candice coming back. You've got Austin Theory on the main roster now on Raw, where you can have, Austin being a complete dick to Johnny and something like this. And I think Gargano overall, the impact obviously at NXT compared to don't get me wrong, Undisputed Era, but the Undisputed Era was very much Adam Cole in the front seat with them.
And they were a unit. Like you said, it wasn't like it's the Undisputed Era. It's not Kyle O'Reilly. It's, Gargano is, like you said, one of those names that, like, even in the promo when he was building up this show, it's 100% true. If it's not for Gargano, if it's not for Ciampa, they probably won't have a ring for 2.0 to even be produced in, or, a studio, none of that. They wouldn't even be doing it. So, it's the positions. And also, I think you mentioned a great point there. I think Gargano also has this God, like the way we mentioned Candice LeRae is like the mother of possibly the women's division, and like a motherly figure for Indy Hartwell and all that. I think the same thing could be said for Gargano along with the Ciampa as like the four. I think they need, like I mentioned this before with Io Shirai, these established names. I still think they are very important in NXT, and I think he had, like you said, he has so much more that can, that I feel like that would make sense to try to get him back if he is looking at other ways to go. But by comparing those two and their values to NXT, it's obvious that losing Gargano would just be losing Gargano to AEW by comparison to losing Kyle O'Reilly to AEW. Oh my God, they don't even compare, in my opinion.
So the thing, the sense thing as well, it's like Gargano going to AEW, does it fit? Losing to Sammy Guevara.
He definitely can work with everyone.
Yeah.
Like we know that.
Like I said, losing to Sammy for the TNT title in his first match is great. But at least with Riley, they'll be kind of built in the story for him. And speaking of Gargano, he came out to his Rebel Heart theme instead of usual The Way, which again is to my eyes. And we saw
Gave me
Gargano.
Goosebumps, man.
Well, even his outfit for all the previous Takeover one. I'm going to go a little detail. Like I said, the WNR podcast has been full of Takeover Gargano of it. So the Iron Man outfit, the DIY wheels on the knee pad, Wolverine from Toronto 2, Carnage and Venom from Portland, Brooklyn 4, Star-Lord from Philly, the Punisher from WarGames 2018. We've got the orange from New Orleans, the purple orange for Takeover 1. Obviously, there was loads there, but they're the ones that I picked out. But that is the kind of thing I love wrestling. Why I love wrestling, because you can pick out you've gone on a journey.
Yeah, and that what you just said. All of those takeovers, his legacy as Johnny Takeover. It's literally Johnny Takeover. It's literally like this is his WrestleMania type. It's like they call Michaels Mr. WrestleMania. We all know that's kind of in the same vein they give Gargano on the reference for Takeover. So when you mention all of that history he's a part of, that is why they call him the heart and soul of NXT, and they were not lying. It's like when he leaves, it's definitely ripping the heart out of NXT. It's hard for me to even look at this as the same. It's definitely not the old NXT when a guy like Gargano is not. So, this entrance gave me goosebumps, man. It was just perfect. I was singing with all of my heart to Rebel Heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely was into this.
Well, let's get on to then what could be Johnny's farewell match with WWE. And I'm going to get upset talking about the action. Anyway, get into it. We see Johnny wrestling starting off, of course, with Carmelo Hayes. And we see the crowd chant for Johnny the whole. Johnny had the upper hand as Grayson Waller made 1-0. He hit Gargano with a backbreaker to take control. And a dodgy kick to Johnny's nose, bringing the crimson. Well done. Trick Williams. But then again, I was thinking about having a go at him about that. And then Ilya Dragunov just kills people every week. So it's a bit of a difference. Not comparing the two, of course. Trick Williams threw a chair into the ring for his team. It nearly impaled Waller, as we see look on Waller's face. Pete Dunne was up next for Team Black and Gold. He went on a rampage against both men until the Gargano recovered enough to help. We get the double submission with added kicks. And again, it's just, what a visual. And these two guys as well. Tony D'Angelo came down for Team 2.0 and brought some tables. Dexter Loomis chased Williams away while D'Angelo locked the door with a chain to keep the rest of the other team out of the cage. It has no roof, you moron. All right?
Yeah.
Nice to see Loomis and the thumbs up. That was a lovely little moment between father and son.
Yes, it was an awesome moment. I definitely, when he locked the door, I was just like, he definitely thought this was Hell in a Cell or something, right? Was that the idea? Did someone think this was Hell? And then also, if you look in the background, luckily for us, the cage is on the hard cam side. If you didn't notice it, go back. When it happened, when he locked the gate, Braun Breaker's like, what the hell? What are you doing? Like, I can't get in either. Like, he's back there motioning with his hands. I'm like, what is going on? So, obviously they didn't talk that part out.
Well, the thing is, LA Knight couldn't get in the ring when it was his turn. So he just climbed up over the wall again like, oh, shit. The T2.
I was mad that it took him so long to just. I wanted him to run down and just literally climb up to make D'Angelo look even more like an idiot. I didn't like how he even went to the door to even try the door. Don't even try the door. Just climb up to show him. Like, D'Angelo, you're an idiot. Come on, man.
Well, Dunn impressed me with the joint manipulation with Trash Can.
Oh, my God.
It's just fish. It's just nasty. War Games and Dunn. We talk about O'Reilly. Dunn has been involved in every War Games, and you can just tell that
he made
it's
for
home.
It, man.
Yeah, it really is.
He made for it.
Both teams were going to war until Bron Breakker came down as a final member. He helped put his team in control, but failed to open the door on the first or second attempt. Or the first. In the end, the camera just cut away. It's fine.
Right. Oh, my God. Pete Dunne's reaction, like, look at him. Look at him. Look at this idiot. Can't even get in.
Oh, it's fucking crazy. And then, because the thing is as well, it's like, you get these guys, the baby faces, and you put them in these situations where you just don't do it. You know, like, oh, he needs to cut this. Yeah, but what about if he fucks up? Look at the Shockmaster. That was all a case of, all he's got to do is go through a wall. And, he don't want Breakker. You know, we end up going back to Breakker, and he's caught up in the cage with the chain round his neck.
And then having Breakker break in is not necessarily the most clever thing ever. I mean, I guess that's what they were trying to go for there, but yeah, oh yeah, I get it. His name is Breakker. He broke into the cage. Ooh.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Now you say that, I'm going, he did Breakker a lot of things, actually, you know, like, I quite like the name. No, it's not. But anyway, Tommaso Ciampa came in and started tearing everyone apart. He and Gargano had a fun moment with a crutch. DIY. We get a brawl broke out at one point with Team Black and Gold getting the better of Team 2.0. Waller got suplexed off the top turnbuckle through a table by Knight. Shit. And a nice Tower of Doom spot. But Waller then hit a huge elbow from the top of the cage on tonight to put him through a table. After several minutes of back and forth action, Breakker been Ciampa to get the win for Team 2.
So, you know, like I said, Gargano's, you know, it just really had me going, and no one deserved that love more than Johnny Takeover. And this match just had everything to me, man. I don't know why. I really enjoyed this. Like, it just seemed like, in my opinion, if you wanted to show someone what a War Games match was, I think this is a good example of it. And I wasn't expecting to say that coming into this show at all, but this felt like war at times. You know what I mean? And I think this is what this match was made for. You know, whoever came up with some of the ideas, some of the shots in this match. I'll never forget when everyone on Team Black and Gold was in the middle, and the way Pete Dunne and Ciampa were, you know, just shrugged at each other, and they went and they did the spot where kind of, you know, they just jumped all of Team 2.0. It's just like that, moments like that just had such a special feel to me, and I just felt like they kept outdoing themselves. You know, it was nonstop. I love so many moments of this match that I lost count. And you know, I love that finish. That finish was beautiful. The spear through the table. First of all, Carmelo Hayes, you know, interrupting the pin after DIY hit their finish on Breakker, and like Melo's like defiance and it ain't going out like that. You know, and then them attacking him, and then the Breakker saving Carmelo from that spot at the end, and then getting the victory, you know, like he did. I thought this was perfect. If this isn't a perfect War Games match, to me, I don't really necessarily know what it is. Like, I love Adam Cole's I think it was the most recent War Games before this. I really loved that match. But I also love this one, too. I would be lying if I thought this was anything else other than 5 stars. And I know a lot of people are not supposed to give these out all willy-nilly. It's rare. But this was just, I don't know what it was, but I really think this is a great example of what War Games should be about. And maybe I was caught up in the moment. Maybe it was the DIY, possibly seeing them for the last time in NXT. Maybe part of that played a factor. But I thought everyone looked good. I thought even a lot of the new guys, all of them had moments to shine, spots that, you know, made them look good. I thought LA Knight, oh my God, jumping to the top rope with the belly to belly through the table on Waller. Oh my goodness, that spot was beautifully set up, you know, because Gargano had to get out of the way, and it was just perfect, man. Like, I can't say enough about this match, and I've literally lost count of all the times, like, I just was like, man, that was really freaking good. And like I said, you can disagree with me if you want, but man, this was perfect.
Oh no, like we said, this was good stuff. I mean, the Black and Gold worked their socks off, and credit to 2.0 as well. I mean, Waller, he got put through tables. Like, me fucking up, he's never taken another bump in his life. Hayes, obviously the workhorse coming through, and Breakker looked great with the moments that he did. Tony D'Angelo is someone I'm invested in yet, but again, can be proven wrong. But I thought, watching this game, watching the match, I thought to myself, isn't it funny that 2.0 and X is a great WarGames match, but the perfect WarGames match this year would have been Gargano versus Hit Row.
Oh my God! Oh yeah. They would have been perfect for this, man. Oh man. Oh, what could have been?
I don't want to do that to you, but as I was thinking, that because you even had the women coming in, being B-Fab and of course
right
the Randy one, and both having their interactions with whatever, not really been involved. You can still have putting through a guy through the tables, but this match again was really, really good. But with WarGames, sometimes it's difficult, to kind of keep that pace throughout. But with the spots that they did, and like you said, when you've got Ciampa in there, when you've got Gargano. Leading
and
action.
Pete Dunne, oh my God, and Pete Dunne too.
I think with Dunne, I look at him, I just go, why is he not a star? And hopefully they're on the same page as I am, and the guy who he's just got everything there.
They're so lucky he re-signed. Oh my God, they're so lucky he's still there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's what I think about now. I think about how lucky they are to have some of these guys still with them. With all the mess that's going on. Because, Pete Dunne's a perfect example of, like you said, a guy who probably deserves to be on top of the world right now. I'm with you, man. I hope he gets what he's due, because he's definitely due championships the world over, whether it's NXT or whether it's a future main roster spot. Dunne deserves the best because he is one of the best.
Without doubt. Like we said, and the end of Johnny Takeover as well, and to experience that, it is something else. So I'm going to give 4 3/4 out of 5. For me, I don't. 5 out of 5 matches. It's got to have saying, stand out. Like I said, it was a great match overall. But then again, the match of the night is the main event. I think for both of us as well, would be fair to say.
Yeah, top notch. Yeah, definitely main event. As much the only other match that even came close to me personally was that tag match in the Eichner show. The Eichner show was the only other thing that that came close to me to this one. I really, really was into.
Well, predictions, like I said, it's Monty versus James. And as you know, for people who listened, I went for the black and gold, even though I did say Breaker would pin Ciampa. But it's not about that. It's not about that. I bowed down against Monty, who is on a roll at the moment. AEW beat everybody's ass, and now he's doing it again for Takeover. A perfect score, Monty. 5 out of 4. And when we start our prediction league next year, in a bonus, but right now means that over King, or the former... polls, NXT 2.0 was the vote. So we talked about our match of the night, which was the main event. MVP, I mean, we've spoke about Ike now. I'll say my one quickly. It is the Cora Jade sell job, because you know my thoughts on Jade. I'm going, who are you? And then she brought, what are you doing here? And then she sold like her life depended on it. Fair.
Yeah, she did.
Play to that. Who is your one?
Oh man, like you said, other than of course Fabian Eichner, I have to give all the love in the world, man, to Johnny Gargano. Like I know how, this is just all I know. He also workhorse this match from the very beginning, as he typically does, and just that unlimited motor that Gargano has. And I think if this is the way that he want to go out, if that's going to be the last time that we see him. In NXT, I really hope not. But if it is, I think he can't. I don't think he would complain about that. You know what I mean? I think that's a great exclamation point. On his NXT career, and like you said, one of the flagship bearers, just not only for tonight, but just for everything he's done over all the wonderful takeovers, all the moments. If this is the end, he definitely deserves MVP in my opinion, just for everything. So I have no problem. Maybe it's a little bit of a participation type of thing, but he killed it in my opinion in this match, and he also has always brings it over. So MVP to me for the whole night. Maybe it was just my emotions, but here we go. Johnny Gargano, man, top notch man, one of the best in the ring in the world currently, and one of the best to ever do it. We can put his matches, like you said, all those bangers, we can put that up against anybody, in my opinion. You can put what he's done in NXT up against anybody's best matches.
Well, you could say the MVP of Takeovers is Johnny Gargano.
Johnny
as well.
Gargano,
I know
yes,
it's
sir.
schmaltzy and stuff like that, but like I said, we've loved Johnny Gargano, the stuff in the comedy stuff he done all the way, and Dexter Lumis recently as well has kept us coming back. Overall rating out of 10, and this was difficult for me because I thought this is not a kind of banger of a takeover, but again, takeover delivered, and there's not been a takeover that hasn't.
Right.
And I've marked some impact scores pretty high, so I think my rating's high, but I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. I mean, I know it's really high, but it's a takeover. And for what I was expecting to what I did coming out of it, like I actually came out of the show going, I'm looking forward to 1.0 on Tuesday. I've never said that.
I agree. I agree 100%. No, you're 100% spot on, man. I gave it 9 out of 10. Also, I agree 100%. This is the first time they've done. This is better than any attempt they have done so far. This is better at any attempt of hyping anyone to watch 2.0. This show is a great thing to show someone if you want to get them into what they do, because I thought this was just the best of what NXT has. This is the best they've looked in a while. And overall, this was just a fun takeover. When the action was the focus, I thought this show was at its best, man. The matches were all good to great to me, and the future was the focus here. Even in the matches where they didn't win, they all had opportunity to show people what they could do. Even Gacy, who you didn't enjoy, all of those guys, everyone had moments to actually show what they do. And one of my biggest complaints of watching 2.0 all the time is, like I tell you all the time when we do this, why the hell do we have to suffer through squash after squash on television and terrible storytelling weekly for the most part? And originally I thought it was to protect these newcomers, and hide their weaknesses. But WarGames proved that some of these 2.0 workers are capable of definitely working more competitive matches. And I'm not saying 30-minute New Japan matches. I'm just saying more competitive matches, just like the Black and Gold days. And the runtime of this show was weird. Usually these shows, like I mentioned earlier, are very paced quickly, and it seemed like, but they padded a lot of time here with promos and video packages, especially the promos to me, because I was just like, I thought this was a takeover. I don't really care what Boa got going on right now. You know what I mean? What's going on?
Like I said, but I don't know how you felt, but it's like with the MSK stuff and a couple of other, it's like we saw the same Grizzled Young Vets segment as we've seen before. Too. And I kind of thought, WWE are treating this like people are watching 2.0 for the first time. It's like an introduction, for the characters that have.
Now, from that point of view, it makes a little bit more sense. Yeah. But so, like I said, maybe I was nitpicking there, but like from that point of view, it makes sense if you want to say, because it was just a lot of stuff, and I don't mind like video packages I've come to expect from WWE, but like you said, promos that we've seen before, a lot of stuff that I just thought, like, don't even get me started on the Ikemen Euro stuff. Like I said, it's just a lot of stuff that just, in my opinion, like this was 3 hours. Takeover is usually, even if it is around that long, they never feel as long as this one felt at times. But I thought this was an awesome special and a special night of wrestling. You know what I mean? And overall, that's what takeovers are about. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for me too.
Yeah, no, excellent stuff there. We asked, what did everybody think of NXT WarGames? OK got 10%, good got 34%, great got 20%, and awesome got 30%. Discrepancy between good and awesome makes me think AEW fans have been coming in. But again, I used to do polls, what's better show, NXT or AEW? And I did it for about a year, and AEW won every week, even though the shows weren't. So, like I said, I appreciate all the AEW stands listening and on Twitter as well. Anthony Bourne tweeted, says, none of the above. I only wanted to watch Mandy Rose. Well,
wow,
there you go. She has got fans.
No. Also, again, it was a couple of Mandy chants, and I don't think people understand that it has not been that don't happen often, man. When you
they do it ironically.
Yeah, and also the funny thing about that, he wanted to watch Mandy. Mandy spent the least amount of time in that match. She didn't really do a lot at all in the time that she was there. So I feel sorry for that person,
When he's listening, broken
heart. At least you got
to
see her. Yeah, at least you got to see her.
No, I mean, we love you, listen to the show, of course. But that, weirdly enough, that's it for now. Can you believe that? One of the time flies when you're having fun. That is it. Don't forget your Twitter I'm at the. Where can people find you apart from our podcast?
Right. Even though I am a fixture at this point on this show, you can find me at MindMontyPod on Twitter. So check me out. I have a link tree in there, and that's where my podcast, my own podcast, the Mind of Munty podcast, that you can use on any podcasting platform to search up and listen to our newest episode. I have a big pod coming up because I have a lot of wrestling to catch up with. And also, I'm thinking about doing a horrible movie review, but I'm not telling any of you guys to watch it because it's really that bad, but it's funny. So that's why I'm saying I don't know if I should do it because it's like so bad that it's good, but at the same time, you know what I mean? It's one of those weird things. But anyway, either way it go. Check out the podcast for all of that good stuff. And I appreciate you guys, man.
Well, it's always great to have you on the WNR, also on Facebook and Instagram. Of course, I say Instagram, we're not really on there a lot. But send us an email to WNRpodcast@gmail.com and your podcast with at the same time. And to do SoundCloud on your phone, also Spotify and iTunes. We can download, subscribe, rate, and review there. That is it. Our next episode is not actually Monty, believe it or not. It is Jaxie is back. With AEW Prelude, unless Jaxie can't make it, and then Monty's back doing AEW Prelude. It's crazy how that works.
It's a great point. Like, I am literally the stand-in. I'm starting to think I have no life whatsoever.
Well, I can't even say, and that's what I pay for, because we just do it with good intentions. But Monty will definitely be. You talk about huge shows coming up. There is 2 massive shows happening in December, just a couple of weeks away. First up, the WNR Awards, 7th annual WNR, participated in the WNR Awards last year, chomping at the bit this time round.
Definitely, can't wait. Everyone. But I do now have to start getting my stuff ready because I have the worst memory ever. I'm telling you, it's gonna be some things that I've definitely forgotten from earlier this year that I won't even mention. But
trust me, I've got you because this has happened to me for the past 6 years. So I wrote notes in June for the first 6 months of the year.
Okay,
so hopefully.
Like
Kushida's stuff. Kushida's stuff. I've got that. I know what's going on there. And then after, and it's fair to say, it is the biggest podcast in WNR history. WNR. I don't know how many times I can say it in a different way, but how big is it going to be? Masturbates? Yes. I've even come up with new games to play for that time.
New games to cheat in.
We will be talking about this off air, but don't forget, we have, like I said, all the action that you will enjoy coming up. Until then,
I'm leaving the basement, guy. By the way,
he's come free. He's got a couple of weeks off, and then he's going to be back. But until then, I've been James Rowlands. I was joined by the fantastic Monty. Again, thank you for being on. It's such a crack.
Always fun, my guy. Adios, au revoir.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.